In the name of God, who is most merciful and gracious, I am Zubair Khan and you are watching my vlog. Trump is coming. This is the topic for this program. The recent election analysis for the US president by independent experts have sent shockwaves to the whole of the world. Mr. Trump is very comfortably leading the polls in a majority of 50 US states, which you can watch and listen in this program. However, Trump and his supporters have to be vigilant. The deep state of USA as well as the European Union will never let it happen. Reason: the both entities have the bitter experience from his previous term. Anyway, interesting period is approaching in this world. Just enjoy the latest analysis of US presidential campaign.
The election is not decided by the national popular vote, but instead by the Electoral College, meaning the only polls that actually matter are the ones conducted in individual states. So let's take a look at the latest poll in each state and see where the election stands. To start off, we'll get the states that are solidly Trump out of the way: Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, the majority of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alaska, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, Iowa, as well as Nebraska at large, and the 2nd District of Maine are all solidly Republican, giving Trump a great 189-vote start. Biden will easily secure the states of Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, raising his electoral tally to 190 votes. Now, with only a handful of states left up for grabs, let's dig deeper into the latest polls and see where the election stands. Let's start off with probably the craziest poll. The latest survey out of Nevada shows Trump leading Biden by a whopping 14 points. This represents a 17-point shift from the 2020 election, indicating that this poll was either complete garbage or that we are seeing a massive shift. Overall, we specifically see Trump at 44, Biden at 30, and Kennedy at 11, putting this state into the solidly Republican column. Florida falls just under the 10-point threshold to be considered solidly Republican, with the latest poll showing Trump up 9 points over Biden. Heading over to 538, we see that Trump has pulled ahead 9 points or higher in each of the 5 most recent polls. Digging deeper, we see that Kennedy is polling at a pretty weak 6 points, which is unsurprising considering how early we are into the campaign season and how polarized this state is. Overall, Trump's 9-point lead puts Florida into the likely Republican column. Moving north, Georgia is polling at a surprising Trump plus 8. Trump carried this state previously in 2016, but Biden edged him out in 2020 by just 0.02 points. The state then appeared to maintain its blue tilt with Raphael Warnock, beating out his Republican opponent by nearly 3 points in the Senate runoff election. Now it seems to have shifted back towards the Republicans with Trump's current strong lead. Looking at the data, Kennedy is polling at 5 points and seems to be pulling more voters from Biden than Trump. This state will join Florida as likely Republican. Moving over to North Carolina, current polling shows Trump with a lead of 9 points. In the last election, Trump defeated Biden by 1.4%, and the state has continued to demonstrate a closely contested political landscape. The current 9-point lead for Trump suggests a persistence of Republican support. Kennedy is currently polling at 6 points, and again appears to be siphoning more votes from Biden, impacting the Democrats' performance. As of now, the latest poll puts North Carolina in the likely Republican category. Shifting our focus to Virginia, the latest poll indicates a +3 lead for Biden. This follows the pattern of Democratic gains in the state, but reveals a drop since Biden won in 2020 with a margin of over 10 points. The presence of Kennedy, who last polled at 14 points back in December, doesn't seem to enhance or diminish Biden's lead, suggesting that his base remains relatively solid. Overall, this puts the state into the lean Democratic column. Turning our attention to Pennsylvania, current polling indicates a pretty narrow advantage for Trump at +4. This state, a critical battleground, flipped to Trump in 2016, but was narrowly reclaimed by Biden in 2020 by just over 1 point. Pennsylvania's swing status and 19-point bucket makes it a focal point for both parties in this election cycle. Kennedy is currently polling at 8 points and is drawing votes from both candidates, but definitely more from Biden. The latest two-way poll shows Trump and Biden even, but when Kennedy is introduced, Trump's lead grows to 4 points, putting the state into the lean Republican category. At this point, Trump has secured enough votes to take the White House, but keep watching to find out just how many he can get. In Michigan, the latest polls show Biden ahead by 3 points, which puts the state into the lean Democratic column. This is a significant observation, as Michigan was a key state that Trump won in 2016 by a very narrow margin, but flipped to Biden in 2020 by a 2.8% lead. This poll represents a slight expansion of that lead, but is still within the margin of error for Trump. Michigan's role as a pivotal battleground state in presidential elections cannot be overstated. In Wisconsin, current polling shows Trump leading by a margin of 1 point. Wisconsin has been a fiercely contested battleground state in recent elections. Biden won Wisconsin in 2020 by about 0.7%, a razor-thin margin that shows just how close this state was. Trump's lead in the current polls suggests another close race is likely, with both parties seeing substantial support. Kennedy is polling at 9 points, and Trump's lead puts the state into the tilt Republican column. Moving west to Minnesota, Biden holds a 2-point lead according to the latest polls, joining Wisconsin in the tilt column, but this time for the Democrats. Minnesota has been more consistently blue compared to Wisconsin, having voted for Democratic presidential candidates since 1976. New Hampshire currently shows a strong Biden lead of 9 points, putting the state into the likely blue column. Maine at large and the 2nd District are also in favor of Biden, this time leaning blue with leads of 6 and 7 points. There's no data for Nebraska's 2nd District, but based on historical patterns, we can put it into the lean blue column as well. Unfortunately, there isn't much data out of New Mexico, with the latest poll being from August. It showed a 6-point Biden lead, so for now, we'll put it into the likely Democratic column. Moving to Arizona, the latest polls indicate that Trump is leading by 9 points. This represents a huge shift given that Biden narrowly won Arizona in 2020 by approximately 0.3%, marking the first time the state voted Democratic in a presidential election since 1996. Arizona's shift towards Trump is further compounded as Kennedy pulls more votes from Biden. Overall, the state falls just short of solidly Republican, ending up in the likely column. Overall, we see a 297-vote victory for Trump.